picture a contractor who is fully booked. Crews out every day, phone ringing, more work than they can handle. To anyone watching from the outside, they look like they're crushing it. Now picture that same contractor who can't make payroll on Friday. This isn't a hypothetical. It happens constantly in small trades businesses. And the reason it happens is one of the most misunderstood dynamics in this industry. Being busy and being profitable are not the same thing. Today we're going to talk about the difference and why understanding it changes how you run your operation. The number most small trades businesses track obsessively is revenue. How much did we do this month? How much did we do this year compared to last year? Revenue is easy to understand, easy to talk about, and almost completely useless as a measure of business health on its own. A company doing $2 million in revenue with 8% net margin is taking home $160,000. A company doing $800,000 in revenue with 22% net margin is taking home $176,000. The smaller company wins, but nobody at a job site is bragging about their margin percentage. Revenue tells you how much work went through the business. Margin tells you how much of it you kept. And in a trades operation with high material costs, high labor costs, and unpredictable overhead, the gap between those two numbers is where the business either lives or dies. Revenue is vanity. Margin is sanity. Cash flow is reality. Here's the dangerous thing about being busy. When the schedule is full and the crew is working and invoices are going out every week, everything feels like it's working. There's no obvious signal that something is wrong. The problem's hide underneath the activity. A job that ran 4 hours over estimate didn't stop the next job from starting. A material overage didn't slow down the schedule. A callback that cost half a day of labor didn't cancel the week's revenue. But all of those things ate margin, quietly, consistently. And because the business was busy, nobody stopped to add it up. This is how profitable looking businesses end up cash poor. Not from one big disaster, but from 100 small margin leaks that nobody tracked because everyone was too busy working to notice. Busyness is not a business strategy. It's a condition. And without margin discipline, it's a condition that gets worse as you grow, not better. Margin starts to shrink. The natural instinct in most small trades businesses is to chase more volume. If we're not making enough money, the answer must be more jobs, more revenue, more crews, more activity. But if your margin is broken, volume makes it worse. You're not doing more profitable work. You're doing more of the same unprofitable work faster with more overhead attached to it. This is the volume trap. And it's where a lot of small trades operations end up spinning. Busy enough to feel successful, stretched thin enough to never get ahead. The fix isn't more jobs. The fix is understanding why the current jobs aren't performing and correcting that before adding any more complexity. You can't grow your way out of a margin problem. You can only fix your way out of it. What should you actually be watching? Gross margin per job, not revenue per job. What did you actually keep after labor and materials on each individual job? This number, tracked consistently, shows you which job types are performing and which ones are quietly losing ground. And labor efficiency. Actual hours worked versus estimated hours on every job. This single metric tells you more about your operational health than almost anything else. Consistent overruns mean your estimates are wrong, your standard isn't being followed, or your crew needs development. All of those are fixable, but only if you know which one it is. And overhead as a percentage of revenue. As revenue grows, overhead should shrink as a percentage. If it's growing instead, that's a signal that the business is adding costs faster than it's adding capacity. That's a structural problem that volume won't solve. 3 metrics, tracked consistently, they'll tell you more about whether your business is actually healthy than any revenue number ever will. Full schedule feels good, but it's not the goal. The goal is a business that generates real margin, that operates efficiently, and that gives you something back for the risk and the work you put into it. Busy is just the means. Profitable is the point. Know your numbers, track your margin, and don't mistake movement for progress. If you've been watching this channel from the beginning, work standard, job costing, estimating, now margin discipline, you're building the foundation we talked about in video 1. This is what it looks like in practice. Subscribe and keep building. See you next video.